Tana walked through the red dust road of Vielle outpost. She carried 2 small bags, one with food, one with water. The sun was low and shadows lay long across broken metal frames and empty trade stalls. Vielle outpost was a place many people passed through, but few stayed. It was quiet now, almost too quiet. Tana was not from Vielle. She came from a farming settlement far beyond the western dunes. She had left home to find work and safety. Her village had been raided by traders who kidnapped children. Ever since she left, she carried fear for those who had no protector. As she stepped past a collapsed market stall, she heard a soft cry. She paused. The sound came from the next alley between cargo crates. She set her bags down and crept forward. There, behind a stack of crates, sat a small figure. A young alien child, skin pale blue, eyes large and trusting. The child had tears and held a thin arm around a smaller sibling. The sibling trembled. They wore torn rags. Nearby, an older woman knelt, her face streaked with dust. She looked at Tana with desperate eyes. Tana knelt a little ways off. She did not move too fast. She kept her voice soft. "Hello," she said. "Are you hurt?" The woman looked up. She whispered, "Please, human, they would sell my children." Tana's heart tightened. She had heard rumors of child selling in border towns. Poor families, desperate, sometimes preyed on by cruel traders. She had hoped those rumors were false. The woman held the smaller child closer. "They came last night. Said they would take children who had no guard. My husband is gone. I have no one." Tana's eyes burned with sorrow. She had seen hardship before, but this felt different. "Stay here," Tana said. She stood slowly, careful not to scare them. She walked toward the silent street. Her mind spun with questions. Who were they? How many? What power did the traders have? Vielle Outpost was governed by a small council. They collected tolls from caravans. They promised safety to refugees, but rumor said the council sometimes looked away if the trade was profitable. Tana crossed the square. Few people were about. Doors were shut. Lamps unlit, some windows cracked. She saw 2 guards in light armor walking away. She called to them, "Guards, please, you must help." They stopped. The older guard, named Morrow, looked at her with tired eyes. The younger, Lena, showed surprise. "What is it?" Morrow asked. "There is a woman hiding with 2 children. She fears they will be sold. The traders say they have rights over families without guardians." Lena frowned. "That is rumor. We have no proof." Tana shook her head. I saw the fear in her eyes. I heard her words. "Please do something." Morrow hesitated. He looked down the empty street. He glanced at Lena, whose face showed concern. The guards were torn. The rules said they must not raise alarm without proof. The power of traders in this outpost was strong. They paid tribute. They had friends in the council. Lena placed a hand on Morrow's shoulder. "We must check," Morrow nodded. They followed Tana back to the crates. The woman saw them. Her eyes glimmered with hope. The younger guard asked, "Who are these traders you speak of?" "Do you have names?" The woman answered, "They call themselves the Black Banner. They come in tall ships. They claim many families owe them debt. They take children of those with no proof of guardianship." The guards exchanged looks. Morrow said, "Bring the children here. Let me see their faces." Tana helped the woman guide the children forward. The smaller one clutched at his mother's shirt. The other child looked at Tana, frightened but curious. Lena asked, "Do you have any proof of these claims?" "Contracts?" Voices speaking. The woman shook her head. "No paper. I was too afraid. They threatened me. If I speak to council, they come at night." Morrow frowned. He looked at Tana. "You have courage, human." Tana nodded. "Someone must stand up. Is there a protector here?" Lena knelt beside the woman. She touched the child's cheek gently. "You are safe now for a moment." But a shadow fell over them. The sound of footsteps. Metal boots on stone. Tana turned. 3 traders appeared, clad in dark uniforms with red trim. They carried cloth bags and short, heavy rods. Their leader stepped forward. He had sharp face, cold eyes. He spoke the trade language used in this region. "You must have heard wrong," he said. His voice was firm. "These children are claimed by the traders through the council. They belong to our company until debts are paid." The woman stood, trembling. "No, this is not right. I owe nothing." The trader said, "That is for council to decide." "You will come with us." Tana stepped forward. She raised her hands, empty. "They will not take them today." The leader smelled challenge. He smiled thinly. And who are you to stop us, human? Tana's voice was firm. Someone who believes mercy and law mean more than coin. The guard stepped between Tana and the traitors. Maro said, "We must not act without proof." The traitor sneered. "You are weak then. Council will side with us." Tana looked into the traitor's eyes. Her heart pounded. She felt anger and fear, but she held her voice calm. "Then I will go to the council." She turned to the guards. "Will you come with me?" Lena stepped forward. "I will." Maro hesitated. He looked at the mother and children. Then he nodded. "Very well." The leader of the traitors glared. "This is over," he said. He motioned to his men. They moved to block the council road. Tana stood steady. The woman held her children back. The fear in her eyes wavered. She saw strength in Tana. After a long moment, Tana led the guards and the woman toward the council building. Word had spread already. People opened windows. Some stepped outside quietly. Some doors closed behind them. Inside, the council chamber was dark. A round table sat in center. On it, scroll cases and lights. Council members in formal robes sat in seats of low light. The air smelled like old wood and dust. Tana spoke first. Her voice echoed in the silent chamber. "Honorable council members, I bring before you a wrong. A mother fears for the safety of her children. Traitors claim rights without proof. I ask that you hear her plea." One council elder named Varen rose. His face stern. He said, "This is a serious accusation. Traitors pay heavy fees to this outpost. They are part of our economy. If these claims are wrong, we will remove their rights." Another elder, Mela, spoke. "Proof is required. Contracts a witness. Without those, we cannot act on rumor alone." The traitor leader stood. "I offer the contract," he said, "signed by local scribe." The woman signed it herself in fear. "If you desire to see it, I will present it." Mela nodded. The traitor reached into his case and brought forward a scroll sealed with dark wax. He broke the seal and unrolled it. The writing was small and the script formal. Tana asked if she could see. The leader passed the scroll. The woman shook as she took it. Her eyes filled with tears. She held the scroll, reading the words she could not understand. The seal bore the mark of a scribe none had seen before. Lena examined the paper. She noted the writing style. She saw some unusual symbols. She paused. Tana watched. She saw the mother's hands shake. She saw the children's faces pale. Lena spoke quietly. "This copy looks wrong." "Different from other contracts I have seen." Mello, another member, frowned. "These symbols, they may be forged." Baron looked at the traitor. "Leader, do you have the original scribe's seal? A record in our hall?" The traitor's face changed. He said, "Records are lost in a fire. The scribe is dead." Gasps ran across the chamber. The council members muttered among themselves. The mother wept softly. Tana stepped forward. "If records burned, then you have no proof. If children are claimed without proper document, they are free." The council elder Varen thought long. He looked around at the faces of villagers who had come, their eyes full of grief and hope. Finally, he spoke. "Very well. We shall halt the claim for now. I appoint Lena to investigate. We will delay any action until proof appears." The traitor leader looked angry. He stepped back. He gave a last harsh look. "You will regret this," he said. Tana did not answer. She simply went to the mother and children. She offered her hand. The mother cried softly and took it. The children clung to Tana's skirts. Outside the council building, sunlight glowed. Villagers came out. Some spoke quietly. Some thanked Tana. Lena remained near Tana, protective. Tana packed her bags again. The mother placed a small clay token in Tana's palm. "For your kindness," she said. Tana shook her head. "No, just let them be free." Lena said, "You have done well. You have given them hope." Tana looked at the children's faces. They were still wary, but fear lessened. Above the outpost, the sky turned orange with first lights of dawn. Trade ships drifted in the distance. The wind kicked up dust and cooled the air. Tana stood at the edge of the square. She held the mother's hand. The children held hers. Villagers around looked at her with new respect. She felt tired but alive. She did not know what would come next. The truth might be hidden. The traitors might try again. But for now, the silent town had a voice. Tana promised herself to protect those who could not protect themselves. She promised to stand against fear even if she walked alone. The sun rose slowly over Vale Outpost, painting the sky with soft orange and pink. The air was cool after the night, but tension still hung in the quiet streets. Tana stood near the council building, her eyes scanning the faces of those around her. The mother, Nali, held her children close, but she looked a little stronger today. Tana knew the traitors would not give up easily. Their words still echoed in her mind. "You will regret this." The threat was clear, but Tana did not let fear rule her. She had made a promise to protect this family. She would keep it no matter what. She turned to the guards, Lena and Morrow. Lena's face was serious, but there was a new light in her eyes. Hope. Morrow remained cautious, but he nodded at Tana's resolve. "We must prepare," Lena said. "If the traitors come back, they will bring more men. We need to keep watch," Tana agreed. "I will stand with you," Lena smiled. "You're no ordinary visitor, human," Tana shook her head. "Just someone who knows what it means to lose people." She thought of her own home, the farm where she grew up. She had seen neighbors taken by raiders, friends sold as workers in distant lands. She had run away to survive, but the pain never left. Now, here in Vale Outpost, she found a chance to help others. It was not the life she planned, but it was the one she had. That day, the town began to change. Some people came forward quietly, offering food and shelter to Nali and her children. Others stayed hidden, afraid of the traitors' power. Tana walked the streets talking to the villagers. She listened to their stories of loss and fear. She told them she would fight for them, but only if they stood together. "Fear is the enemy," she said. "If we do not fight, the traitors will take everything. But if we stand united, they will not win." A few heads nodded. It was not much, but it was a start. As the sun climbed higher, a shadow passed over the outpost. A ship appeared on the horizon, a large vessel with dark markings on its side. The black banner, the traitors had returned. Tana's heart beat faster. She called Lena and Morrow. "Get ready. We must protect the mother and her children." The traitors' ship landed near the dock. Men in black uniforms stepped down carrying weapons. Their leader, the same man from before, walked with a cruel smile. "This is our land," he said loudly. "The children belong to us. Surrender now." Tana stepped forward, her blade drawn. It was a simple weapon, old but sharp. The traitors laughed. "Is this your answer, human? A blade?" Tana's eyes were steady. "It is my promise. You will not take them." The traitors moved forward, but the townspeople began to gather. Some held tools, others stood firm. They had no weapons, but their courage was strong. Lena called to the crowd, "Stand back. We protect this family." The traitors hesitated. They saw the united town and the human who refused to back down. The leader snarled, "You will regret this," but Tana did not move. She felt the weight of responsibility. She was not just protecting Nali and her children. She was protecting the future of Vale Outpost. The traitors finally retreated, but the threat remained. Tana knew this was only the beginning. That night by the fire, Tana spoke with Nali. "I will not let them harm you or your children," she said quietly. Nali smiled weakly. "Thank you, human. You are brave," Tana nodded. "We must be brave." For them, the fire flickered, casting shadows on the walls. Outside, the wind whispered through the silent town. Tana stood guard, her blade ready. She was a wanderer, but now she had a cause, and she would fight for it. The morning light spilled over Vile Outpost, but the air was thick with tension. The traitors had left the day before, but their presence still lingered like a dark cloud. Tana stood near the edge of the town, watching the horizon where the traitors' ship had disappeared. She knew they would return. They never gave up easily. Nali sat nearby, holding her two children close. Her eyes showed both fear and hope. The small family had found some safety in Vale, but the threat of losing everything remained. Tana's mind raced with plans. She knew she could not fight alone. The town had to stand together if they wanted to keep their freedom. But many people were still afraid. Fear was a strong enemy, and some would rather stay silent than risk their lives. Lena joined Tana, her face serious. "The council has not acted yet. They wait for proof, but the traitors have power here. If we do not act soon, it may be too late." Tana nodded. "We need evidence. Proof that the traitors are breaking laws or harming people. Something the council cannot ignore." Lena looked thoughtful. "We must watch them. See what they do next," Tana agreed. "Tonight I will go to their ship. See if I can find anything." That evening, when the sun dipped low, Tana prepared. She packed a small bag with food, water, and her blade. Nali's children slept quietly nearby. Nolly gave Tana a small charm for luck. "Be careful," she whispered. "We all trust you." Tana smiled softly. "I will be careful." The streets were quiet as Tana moved toward the docks. The trader's ship was large and dark, resting heavily on the ground. Guards patrolled the area, their eyes sharp. Tana stayed hidden in the shadows. She moved slowly, careful not to make noise. She circled the ship, looking for a way inside. At last, she found a small door partially open. She slipped inside. The ship's interior was cold and metallic. Strange machines hummed softly. Crates stacked high blocked parts of the narrow hallways. Tana crept through the corridors, her heart pounding. She listened for voices or footsteps, but heard only the distant hum of engines. Suddenly, she spotted a room marked with a symbol she had seen before, a child's hand holding a star. She opened the door, just a crack. Inside were rows of small pods glowing faint blue. Inside each pod was a child sleeping or in a quiet state. Some looked human, others alien, like Nolly's children. Tana's breath caught. These children had been taken from their families. She felt a wave of anger and sadness. She quickly looked for papers or signs. Near the pods, she found a small terminal with a list of names and numbers. Some were marked as unclaimed, others sold or pending. Tana snapped pictures with a small device she carried. She knew this was the proof the council needed. Suddenly, a noise behind her. She turned to see a trader guard entering the room. Tana hid behind a crate, holding her breath. The guard walked slowly, checking the pods. He spoke into a small radio. "All secure. No signs of trouble." Tana waited until the guard left, then slipped out the door. Outside, she ran through the dark streets, heart racing. She had the evidence. The next morning, Tana met Lena and Maro in the council chamber. She showed the pictures and data she had gathered. The council members leaned in, eyes wide. "This is serious," Varen said. "These children have been taken without approval." "This is a crime," Mela added. "The traitors have broken the law of this outpost and the allied sectors. We must act." The traitor leader stood, his face pale but still proud. "You have no right to accuse us without full proof," Lena said. "Here is proof. The children, their names, the records. This is not rumor." The council voted. They agreed to arrest the traitors and free the children. The town cheered quietly. Nolly hugged her children tightly, but the traitors were angry. They promised revenge. They left the council chamber with dark faces. Tana felt the weight of the battle ahead. The traitors had power beyond this outpost. The fight was just beginning. That night, the town gathered. Tana spoke to the people. "We have taken a stand. Together, we are stronger than fear. But we must remain united. The traitors will come back. We must be ready." Lena added, "We will watch. We will protect." The villagers nodded, some for the first time feeling hope. Tana looked at Nolly's family. "You're safe here." Nolly smiled through tears. "Thank you, Tana." Tana knew the road ahead was long and hard, but for the first time in many moons she felt the power of hope. The days that followed were tense. Vale Outpost seemed calm on the surface, but beneath the air buzzed with worry. The traitors' threat had not disappeared. Their dark ships still hovered near the edges of the system, and their words of revenge were whispered in quiet corners. Tana walked the streets every day, watching, listening. The villagers looked at her with mixed feelings, hope, fear, and curiosity. Many were grateful, but some kept their distance. Fear had a strong grip on their hearts. One afternoon, while Tana was visiting Nolly and her children, a visitor arrived. He was a tall man wearing simple but worn clothes. His face was sharp, eyes clear and alert. He carried a long blade at his side and walked with the confidence of someone who had seen many battles. He introduced himself as Kale, a wanderer and protector. He had heard of the troubles at Vielle and had come to offer help. Tana studied Kyle carefully. She saw no sign of lies in his voice or face. "We need every hand," she said. "The traitors will not stop." Kyle nodded. "I fight for those who cannot protect themselves." That night, around the fire in the center of the town, Kale told stories of his travels. He spoke of distant worlds, of battles against cruel oppressors, and of the power of unity. The villagers listened, some wide-eyed, others thoughtful. Tana felt a new strength in Kale's presence. He was a warrior, but also kind. He understood the pain behind the fight. Over the next days, Kyle trained the townspeople. He taught them how to defend themselves, how to use simple tools as weapons, and how to watch for danger. The villagers learned quickly. Fear began to change into determination. Meanwhile, Lena worked tirelessly in the council chamber. She pushed for stronger laws to protect families and children. Maro guarded the streets, watching for traitor spies. One evening, Kyle approached Tana. "I have learned something," he said quietly. "The traitors have a secret base nearby. They plan to launch a raid to take more children." Tana's eyes narrowed. "We must stop them." Kyle nodded. "We will need a plan." They gathered the council members, Lena, Maro, and some of the villagers. Together they made a decision. They would strike first. They would find the traitors' base and destroy it before the raid began. The next day, under the cover of darkness, Tana, Kale, Lena, and a small group set out. They moved through rocky terrain and dusty plains. The stars above guided their way. After hours of travel, they found the base hidden in a canyon. It was guarded by armed men and strange machines. The air was thick with smoke and danger. Kale studied the base. "We must be careful," he warned. "They have traps and sensors." Tana's heart beat fast. She thought of Nali and her children, and all those who depended on her. They planned their attack. Kale would lead a small group to disable the guards. Lena would hack the machines to stop communications. Tana would find the pods where the children were held and free them. The night was cold and still as they moved into position. The first steps were the hardest. Every shadow seemed alive, every sound a threat. Suddenly, a guard spotted them. He shouted an alarm. The battle began. Blades clashed and guns fired. Tana ran through the corridors, calling softly to the children. Many were scared and weak, but they followed her. She carried one small alien child in her arms. Kyle and his group fought fiercely. Lena worked quickly, her fingers flying over a small device to shut down the base's systems. After long moments, the alarm stopped. The base fell silent. The traitors were defeated. Tana led the children outside, where the first light of dawn broke over the canyon. She looked at their tired faces and felt hope bloom again. But the battle was not over. The traitors still had ships. They still had power. Back in Vale, the freed children were welcomed with tears and smiles. Nali held her own children close, then looked at Tana and Kale. "You saved us." Tana smiled, but her mind was already on what came next. Kale said, "This is only one step. The traitors will come back, but we are ready." Tana nodded. "We will protect our home. We will not let fear win." The sun rose high, lighting the town with warmth and promise. Together, the people of Vile Outpost faced the future, not with fear, but with courage. The victory at the hidden base brought hope to Vale Outpost, but it also brought new challenges. The traitors were furious. They had lost many men and valuable resources. They would not give up their control easily. Tana and Kyle stood at the edge of the outpost, watching the sky as traitor ships appeared again. This time their numbers were greater, their ships bigger and armed with powerful weapons. The traitors were coming for a final battle. Tana felt the weight of responsibility. The people of Vale had placed their trust in her. Nali and her children were safe for now, but the traitors' anger could change everything. The council met quickly. Lena and Maro shared their plans to defend the town. The villagers were ready, trained, and determined. But Tana knew the battle would be fierce. "We fight for our home," Tana said. "We fight for those who cannot fight," Kyle nodded. "And we fight with honor." The townspeople prepared. Walls were strengthened. Traps were set. Scouts patrolled the edges. Everyone played a part. When the traitors' fleet arrived, the sky darkened with ships. Loudspeakers on the largest ship boomed a warning. "Surrender the children and leave. Resistance will be destroyed." Tana stepped forward. Her voice was clear and strong. "We will never surrender." The traitors laughed. Their leader, the cruel man from before, sneered. "You will regret this, human." The battle began. Energy blasts lit the sky. Ships moved fast, firing at the outpost's defenses. On the ground, the villagers fought bravely. Armed with simple weapons and courage, they stood firm. Tana led a group to protect Nali and the children. She moved swiftly, her blade flashing in the sunlight. She fought not just for herself, but for the hope she saw in every face. Kale fought beside her, a fierce protector. Together they pushed back the traitors' forces. Lena worked behind the lines, hacking into the traitors' communications. She disrupted their plans, sending false signals and confusion. Morrow guarded the council chamber, ensuring the leaders were safe and the town's commands clear. Hours passed like a storm. The traitors' strength was great, but the will of Vile's people was greater. In a crucial moment, Kale faced the traitor leader. The two clashed in a fierce duel. Blades struck metal. Sparks flew. Tana rushed to Kale's side, helping him finally defeat the leader. With a final strike, the traitor leader fell. Seeing their leader defeated, the traitors' ships began to retreat. Their fleet scattered, leaving the sky clear once again. The people of Vile cheered, but the cost was clear. Many were injured. Buildings were damaged. The town was tired but free. Nali approached Tana, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You saved my family. You saved us all." Tana smiled, though exhaustion touched her face. "We saved each other." That evening, the town gathered. They sang songs of courage and hope. They honored those who fought and those who protected. Tana looked at the stars, thinking of her own journey. She was once a wanderer, alone in the galaxy. Now she was part of something greater, a family, a home. Kyle stood beside her. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "But together we are strong." Tana nodded. "Together we will build a future where no one lives in fear." The wind carried their words across Vile Outpost, a promise of peace and strength. The battle was over, but the days that followed were filled with hard work and quiet hope. Vale Outpost was scarred from the fight. Buildings needed repair, fields needed tending, and wounds needed healing. Yet the spirit of the people was stronger than ever. Tana walked through the streets greeting the villagers. Their faces showed relief and pride, but also tiredness. The fight had tested them all, but it had also brought them closer. They had learned to stand together. Nali's children played nearby, their laughter a new sound in the town. Nali watched them with tears of gratitude. She turned to Tana. "You gave us a chance to live." "I will never forget," Tana smiled warmly. "You are safe now. That is what matters." Kale had stayed in Vale Outpost. He helped organize the rebuilding and trained the villagers in skills they could use for protection. Many began to look at him not just as a warrior, but as a leader and friend. One evening, as the sun set in a sky full of stars, Tana and Kale stood outside the council chamber. The air was cool and peaceful. "We have come far," Kale said quietly. Tana nodded. "But there is still much to do. The traitors may be gone from here, but they exist in many places." Kyle looked at her. "Then we must be ready. We can help other towns like this one," Tana smiled. A network of strength and hope. The council met regularly to discuss the future. They worked to build stronger laws, better defenses, and closer ties with neighboring outposts. The people of Vale wanted to ensure that no one would suffer as they had. Lena and Morrow continued their watchful eyes, always alert but hopeful. One day, a message arrived from a distant system. It told of a similar town struggling against the traitors. Tana and Kale prepared to leave, ready to share what they had learned. Before they left, Nali came to Tana. She held a small gift, a carved wooden star. "For you," she said, "to remind you that even in the darkest night there is light." Tana accepted it with gratitude. "I will carry this with me." As Tana, Kyle, and a small group of volunteers boarded a ship, the people of Vile gathered to say goodbye. They waved, their faces shining with hope. The ship rose into the sky, leaving the outpost behind but carrying its spirit forward. Tana looked out at the stars. The galaxy was wide and full of dangers, but also of friends. She knew her journey was far from over. With Kale at her side, she felt ready for whatever came next. Together, they would bring light to the darkest places. Tana's ship glided smoothly through the endless stars. The journey to the distant system was long but peaceful. Kale stood by the window, watching the vast darkness dotted with glowing lights. The calm was a sharp contrast to the battle they had left behind. Inside the ship, the small team prepared for what awaited them. Lena checked their equipment and maps while Morrow reviewed their communications gear. Everyone was focused, knowing the importance of their mission. The new system was known as Rylos. Its outposts were small, and its people had lived in fear of the traitors for many years. Reports said the traitors were stronger there, more organized and cruel. Tana gathered the group. "This will not be easy. The traitors have taken control, but we will help these people find their strength." Kyle nodded. "We fight not just for one town, but for all who suffer." As they approached Rylos, the ship's sensors picked up activity. Several trader ships patrolled the system. The new threat was real and close. The team landed on a rocky planet with a small settlement called Kira's Rest. The town looked worn and quiet. Its people moved cautiously, eyes full of fear. Tana and Kale stepped off the ship, meeting the town leader, a woman named Mira. Mira's face was tired but hopeful. "We have heard of Vial Outpost," Mira said. "If you can help us, we will follow you." Tana smiled gently. "We will stand with you." That night in the town hall, Mira shared the traders' latest moves. They controlled the nearby mines, took the children as workers, and taxed the people heavily. Tana felt a deep anger. She thought of Nali's children and all those who suffered. The team made a plan. They would weaken the traders' hold on the mines and free the workers. It was dangerous but necessary. Kale and a group of villagers trained hard. They learned new ways to defend themselves, using the rocky terrain to their advantage. Lena and Maro worked to intercept trader communications. They discovered the traders planned to bring more soldiers to the mines soon. The team acted quickly. One night they moved silently through the shadows to the mining site. The guards were alert but unprepared for the surprise. Tana led the charge, her blade shining in the moonlight. She called out to the workers. "We are here to free you." The miners looked surprised but hopeful. Some joined the fight. A fierce struggle followed. The traders fought hard to keep control. But the determination of the freed miners and the skill of Tana's team turned the tide. In the end, the traders were forced to retreat. The miners cheered their freedom. Tana smiled as she watched families reunite. Back in Kira's Rest, the people celebrated. For the first time in a long time, hope filled the air. Mira thanked Tana. "You have given us a new chance." Tana replied, "We will stand with you until the traders are gone." As the team prepared to leave, Tana looked at the stars once more. The galaxy was vast and the traders' reach was long, but every town freed was a step toward peace. Kale joined her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Our fight continues," Tana nodded, "and we will never stop." With a new mission ahead, they launched into the stars, ready to bring light to the darkness. The journey from Kira's Rest was filled with quiet determination. Tana, Kale, and their team traveled through many systems, helping towns and outposts rise against the traders' control. Each victory was small, but together they formed a growing hope across the galaxy. The traders, however, were not idle. They gathered forces and spread fear, trying to crush every spark of resistance. Rumors reached Tana's ears of a large fleet gathering in the far reaches of the system, ready to strike back hard. Tana stood on the deck of her ship, looking out at the stars. She felt the weight of her responsibility, but also the strength of the people who believed in her. Kyle joined her quietly. "The final battle is coming," he said. "We must be ready," Tana nodded. "We fight for every child, every family, every home." The team called together leaders from the towns they had helped. They formed a council, a new alliance dedicated to defending freedom. Each leader brought warriors, supplies, and ideas. The traders' power was great, but united they could be stronger. The traders' fleet arrived sooner than expected. It was larger than any before, filled with ships armed for destruction. Tana's fleet stood ready. The sky was full of light and shadow as ships moved into position. The battle was fierce and long. Energy blasts lit the darkness. Ships twisted and turned in the vast space, each side fighting with all they had. On the ground, fighters from every town joined forces to defend their homes. Tana and Kale led the charge, their courage inspiring all. The traders' leader, a cruel and powerful man, appeared on the battlefield. He fought with rage, but Tana and Kale were steady. Their unity and hope gave them strength. In a final confrontation, Tana faced the trader leader. Their blades clashed, sparks flying. The fight was hard, but Tana's resolve was unbreakable. With one strong strike, she defeated him. The trader fleet faltered, then began to retreat. The people cheered. The trader's hold was broken. After the battle, the alliance worked quickly to rebuild. The towns shared resources and knowledge. They created schools, farms, and safe places for children. Tana looked around at the faces of those who had fought and won. She felt pride and peace. Kale stood beside her. "This is the future we dreamed of," Tana smiled. "A future where no one lives in fear." The stars shone bright above, a symbol of hope and new beginnings. Together, the people of the galaxy had brought light into the darkness.